Welcome to this week's Bible Topics discussion. We're glad you're with us today as we talk about discipleship. What exactly is discipleship? Discipleship, in the Christian sense, is the process of making someone become like Christ. So, what is a disciple? Disciple is defined as someone who follows the teachings, life, and aim of another until the person becomes like the master. A disciple of Christ is one who strives to become like Christ in everything they do.
So, what is the goal of discipleship? It's not only to make converts that make converts, but for all believers to become increasingly like Jesus. True discipleship involves investing in new believers, walking through life with them, and shepherding them to Christian maturity. Discipleship is not as some churches are practicing, which is to dunk them and drop them. This phrase comes about when some churches are more concerned about getting people saved and baptized. Then they move on to the next unsaved person to only repeat the same process.
Yes, June, this reminds me of a parable Jesus gave. Matthew chapter 13, verse 3b through 8 says, "A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places, where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly, because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seeds fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seeds fell on good soil, where it produced a crop of 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown." Jesus explains this parable in Matthew chapter 13, verses 19 through 23, which says, "When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop, yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown."
The dunk 'em and drop 'em is talked about in these verses because those in that church do not help the saved person develop a good root or knowledge of Jesus. In Matthew chapter 4, verse 19, it says, "Then he," meaning Jesus, "said to them, 'Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.'" This verse contains the three aspects of discipleship: following Jesus, the follow me being changed by Jesus, the I will make you and joining Jesus' mission, the fishers of men. In Luke chapter 14, verse 33b, Jesus says, "Those of you who do not give up everything you have cannot be my disciples." Jesus did not mean that you cannot have any possessions. He meant that we need to release our love of our possessions in our hearts, recognizing that what we own has always belonged to God.
So how do we become effective disciples for Jesus? Jesus himself gave us what we must do, and he gave it as a command. Acts chapter 1, verses 4 through 5 says, "On one occasion, while he was eating with them, he gave them this command: 'Do not leave Jerusalem, but wait for the gift my Father promised, which you've heard me speak about. For John baptized with water, but in a few days you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit. To be an effective disciple for Jesus, you must have the power of the Holy Spirit. When you're ready to be Jesus' disciple, he also gave instructions in Matthew chapter 28, 19 through 20, which says, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." We are to go and make disciples, baptizing them and teaching them to obey all his commands.
Well, that's it for this week. Please like, comment, and share this episode. We hope you learned something from what God had for you. If you have questions or suggestions for future topics, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you to the friend who suggested this topic.
See you next week. Be blessed.